The class of 2025 is starting to ramp up, and all eyes turn to Matt Rule on who he's going to add to this roster to continue to try to build up the Cornhuskers to be a legit threat in the Big Ten. So in this video, I have a couple names for you of who the Cornhuskers are trying to land, some big names, guys who are super talented, and guys you might have not heard of before. So without further ado, if you like the content, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps me out, along with subscribing to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any more film analysis, instant reactions, or recruiting videos like this. But let's start it off with the class of 2025 and a couple guys that Matt Rule is going after. Starting off with Isaiah Mosey, top 100 receiver out of Missouri. This is a guy who's listed at 6'1", 185, has offers all over the country, Ohio State, Oregon, Oklahoma, and has been to Nebraska time and time again on a visit, was just in Lincoln last weekend, and a super talented guy. Not only does he have a nice frame, but he runs a legit 4.5 40 time that was from 2 years ago. This guy now runs a legit 4.4 and might even go up to a 4.3 by the time he's done in Lincoln. So super speedster, and a guy who, if you look at his stats, they prove how good he is. Top 100 for a reason. And I keep talking about how good this receiver class is going to be for the Cornhuskers. It's the Dylan Raiola effect. Talented receivers want to play with talented quarterbacks, and they want to play with young quarterbacks, guys who are going to be there for the majority of their career. And that's what Dylan Raiola provides to this Nebraska team, is that he's a peer recruiter. He can still get talented receivers like this. So Isaiah Mosey is on the top of the Cornhuskers list in 2025. And I will talk about Missouri time and time again. You need to lock down that state. It is so talented. 4-star, 4-star, 5-star, 5-star. Every single year, they're sprouting out talent out of the Kansas City area. They're sprouting out talent out of St. Louis. And no team, no program has effectively recruited it. We've seen Missouri come in and take a couple guys. Ohio State come in and take a couple guys. Georgia come in and take a couple guys. Texas, right? But there's never been a consistent program to dominate the area. Nebraska needs to get in there and get a couple of guys and start to build a reputation within the coaches that are in St. Louis, within the players, that people start coming to Nebraska at a constant rate. You want to build a pipeline in Missouri. So Isaiah Mosey's a huge target. He's a guy you're going to hear of a lot more as the summer progresses. We're basically fighting off Oklahoma very hard for him. He is a current Oklahoma lean. Again, expect Oregon to also make a push there, but I like our chances there with Isaiah Mosey. But very talented receiver class, and we're going after some of the top guys. That's number one. Number two, keeping it with the offense, goes by the name of Jamarion Parker, top 200 running back, current Arkansas commit. Super talented running back, listed at 6 foot tall, 185, 30 offers all over the country, and was recently in Lincoln. I know a lot of people might say, why are we going after him if he's an Arkansas commit? If you are still taking visits, you are not committed. Let's get that out of the way. If you're still taking visits, you're still announcing offers, you are not actually committed. The Cornhuskers are still going after him very hard. And let's call it what it is. This running back room has a lot of guys in there. It doesn't have a stud. You need to keep adding bodies until you find your guy. Nebraska already has a running back in this class, and he's a hit or miss target. His name goes by the name of Connor Booth, in-state running back at the Class C level, and I like his talent. I just don't see the upside. Matt Rule obviously is going for a second running back in Jamarion Parker, and I think that's a good move. Again, super talented, a guy who gets it done in that speed category, but also can put his head down and level a couple of guys. I know Nebraska fans love that in their running back. So Jamarion Parker, another guy to watch. Been in Lincoln a couple of times, so I expect Nebraska to keep going after him. Again, has offers all over the country. Another 4-star. Now we'll keep it in the trenches. The top player in all of North Dakota high school football, Cade, I'm going to butcher this last name, Cade Petrazak. Again, probably butcher that last time. I'm sorry if he's watching this. But this is a guy who's super talented, and you talk to Nebraska guys, Nebraska coaches, they say super underrated. Has offers all over the country, but still honestly overlooked. Has some FSU offers, has a Texas A&M offer, of course has regional offers like Kansas State, North Dakota, Iowa, Iowa State, Missouri, the whole bunch. But a guy who probably should have a lot more. He's really versatile, plays O-line, D-line. We're recruiting him at O-line. And again, just super underrated. Keep building up those trenches. He's been in Lincoln time and time again, was recently in Nebraska last weekend for a visit, has came for game days before. He's a current Nebraska lean. I expect the Cornhuskers to land him when it's all said and done. And you got to build a foothold in North Dakota. time and time again, they produce a couple of guys who are productive players. I mean, we saw us get an O-line commit them from a year or two ago who's been solid. Jason, I can't pronounce his last name, but we got a North Dakota guy. So they do produce some talent every now and then, and there's also a lot of walk-ons who come from North Dakota who end up playing really good football. And we should also mention the fact that there's a lot of those North Dakota guys who just stay home. They play for North Dakota State. They play for North Dakota. They go down south and play for South Dakota State. And they make really, really good FCS players. There's space for them on this roster. Not saying Cade is one of those guys. Cade's obviously a Power 5 guy, but you need to build a foothold in North Dakota, and that's what you're doing right here, adding him to this roster. So Nebraska going after him really hard. I feel really good about him. I think we land him. So, again, keep adding to this O-line. Keeping it with the O-line. This is a big name. Nick Brooks, the number one player in the state of Iowa. Offensive tackle listed at 6'7", 350. Just a brawler, dominant player. Man, this would be big for the Cornhuskers. We've seen Nebraska go into Iowa and take some of their best talent. We saw it last class with Grant Bricks. We saw it a couple classes ago with Thomas Fedoni. Nebraska has had all the success in the world walking to Iowa and taking their own guys. Why can't we do it again? Nick Brooks, there is an Iowa offer there. There's an Iowa State offer there. He also has offers all over the country, but expect Nebraska to push for him really hard. Again, another guy who's recently in Lincoln, Nebraska. I will say this about Nick Brooks. He does have some bad weight on his frame, but he's just so talented. The upside's so there. It doesn't even matter. Again, a lot of times you're going to see guys who have bad weight when they're 6'7" and play tackle in high school, but that'll get easily cut down when he gets to college. But super excited about Nick Brooks. I mean, this guy could be a 5-star when it's all said and done. He's a top 150 player in the country. That's how good of a prospect he is. Probably going to be better than Grant Bricks when it's all said and done. And that tells you how good he is. Grant Bricks, stud of a player. We did a film reaction to him. But Nick Brooks, also about as good. So that is number 4 on my list. Now going to number 5. We've had 4 offensive players. Now let's take it to the defense, and we need some help at this position. D-line, specifically the interior D-line. Jalen Williams, top 200 player in the class of 2025, listed at 6'6". And he's currently a Michigan lean, but has offers all over the country. I mean, again, Oregon, OU, OSU, Georgia. I mean, the likes of many. Jalen Williams, complete stud. He's actually going to be in Lincoln this weekend. So the 27th and the 28th, he will be in Lincoln taking a visit. So a guy that the Cornhuskers need to lock down. You need to lock down the D-line. I really like this D-line unit, but it's getting old, especially with Ty Robinson in his last year of eligibility. Nash Hutmucker likely going into his last year of eligibility or last year on the team. Added this interior D-line, get a talented, versatile guy like Jalen Williams. He's played the edge spot. He's played interior. I think we'll end up putting him interior when he gets to Lincoln, but I like guys who can do both, guys who are experienced, because they know that basically shows that they have a couple tricks in their bag. They can have that swim move. They can have that speed rush. They can have that bull rush, and you want to have that versatility inside, and that's exactly what we have with Jalen Williams. So this would be big for Nebraska. And again, I should go back to all of them. All these guys are 4-stars. All these guys are super talented guys. Actually, one of them is not the North Dakota guy, Cade Petrovich, is not a 4-star. He should be a 4-star, by the way. But they're all super talented guys. And this shows what Matt Rhule's doing in this class. He is swinging big. He knows how talented his roster needs to be in order for him to succeed in the Big Ten. And he knows that he's a great recruiter and he has a great staff in front of him to do the job. So, man, I'm getting fired up about this class. These are all heck of players, and we're going to have more updates coming out throughout the class of 2025. If we have any rumors on if a guy is going to be committing Nebraska or not, you'll find that out first here on this channel. We like to have instant analysis immediately. We know daily dialing. We get right to it here on the Will Statement Sports channel. So if you don't want to miss out anything like that, please hit that subscribe button. But as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.